kind of magical up here on this mountain top at Lichtenstein Castle.
2 months traveling on the road, our home is where the traffic flows. We'll bring you everywhere we go and sleep in a freezing cold van because we're a little bit crazy, but you'll see that it's worth it.
We have completed our time in the Netherlands. Now we're going to drive clear across them to Cologne, Germany. The only problem with this plan is that we're driving across the entirety of the Netherlands in the night. So we don't actually get to see the Netherlands. But my thought was just that we can't be missing fields and fields of tulips because it's the dead of winter. So onward we go. Just crossed the border into Germany, and it's raining here too.
Continue straight.
Yes, into Cologne, which is spelled K-O-L-N.
In German.
Yes. There's a crazy storm current in this river.
Ich muss erst Kölsch wechseln. Wenn Sie denken, wieder da. This is for you. Thank you. Ketchup.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
These beers are from these guys.
So we just finished eating lunch, and while we were in there, a local befriended us and then helped us choose some beers. And
Everyone
then
in there
schnapps.
was so friendly.
Yes.
It was like a hole-in-the-wall place. It looks like nothing from the outside, but then the beer just kept coming, and the pork was incredible. The food was
It was so
rich
amazing.
and German and awesome. Oh
Now,
my gosh.
the only problem is that now we have to bike,
Yeah.
but we're not gonna bike,
We
so
can't.
we're gonna walk the bikes
we can't.
because we can't bike. And then we finished it all off with some schnapps, which was amazing. It was really good. Maddie had the female version of schnapps,
Cherries. It tasted like cherries.
and I had the man version of schnapps, which tasted like a cross between vodka and rum.
It was actually really good. It was tasty. His was very strong compared to mine.
So now we're going to the cathedral. So Maddie has this thing where she loves statues, but something special about the statues. What's so special
I
about
like
them?
to take pictures of statues with birds on their heads.
Yes.
It makes me smile.
Yes.
So Cologne is really just a beautiful little city to walk through, especially in the old section, which is where we are now. This is just judging by what I read on TripAdvisor, but we're about to prove it correct.
Yeah, so we see a very pretty cathedral thing.
And we're walking to it.
And there's a bunch of colorful houses around it. While the Ludwig Museum is closed on Mondays.
So we'll play it by ear. We may come back tomorrow.
Or we may leave and go somewhere else tomorrow.
We'll see.
Here behind me we have a German fairy tale of gnomes. Some are making bread, some are building things out of wood and stuff. Some are butchering the pig. It's a German fairy tale.
This cathedral in Cologne is one of the most famous in Germany, and for two very big reasons. One, it's an incredible example of Gothic architecture because of its high vaulted ceilings, its soaring stained glass windows, and its flying buttresses on the outside. And the other reason is because it was the longest construction of a religious site in all of Germany, taking 500 years to be completed. It started in the 1300s, finished in the 1800s. Gates of the city of Cologne have been reconstructed. They were built in 50 AD when this was a Roman city. The construction of this cathedral was completed in 1880, and to commemorate that, they had this constructed in front of it. It's actually a life-size model of the pieces that sit atop the pointy points of the bell towers of the cathedral, and they're huge!
So we came out of the cathedral and everything was ancient and historic, and then we literally just turned one street and this.
It's like a mall, but outside.
Well, it's supposed to rain all day today.
And our next stop is the two castles, Eltz Castle and Cochem Castle. Well, it's tough because we can't really see those castles in the rain.
So right now, we're headed to Eltz Castle, which is the first of 3 German castles we're going to take you to in this episode. This castle had a gorgeous drive to it through undulating hills and flat plains and little tiny German towns. It's just so picturesque. So now we're taking this walking trail to the castle itself, and we'll have the big reveal in a moment. The way to Eltz Castle is via foot. So it's about a 15-minute walk to the castle, and thank goodness the rain has stopped just for a moment. So we are unfortunately in the off season, which means that no one else is here, but it also means that it's closed to the public. So we're just going to see the exterior of this castle, not the interior. Welcome to Eltz Castle. There has been a structure here on this land since the 9th century, but it's been added onto over hundreds of years to what you see right now. There was a large restoration in the 18th century, but the Eltz family began living in this castle in the 13th century, and branches of that family, 33 generations later, still own the castle. 3 branches of the family currently reside in it, and 2 of these branches open their homes to the public between April and October. Obviously, we're here in the off season, so we can't go in, which is a big disappointment, but we'll definitely return someday. They've been getting an uncharacteristic amount of rain here, and the rivers are all flooding their banks. This river, I mean, there are tons of trees underwater, and it was like that back in Cologne too. An entire parking lot was underwater. Unlike Eltz Castle, Cochem Castle towers above Cochem City on a big
mountaintop. It's beautiful view. Unfortunately, today is a very gray and rainy day, so we didn't get excellent footage of it, but you can still tell how pretty it is. This is Ritter von Lichtenstein of Lichtenstein Castle, which is where we are right now. This cold all this time, and finally we have snow as precipitation instead of freezing rain. It's kind of magical up here on this mountain top at Lichtenstein Castle. But we just got a tour of this beautiful castle that was actually built in 1840, and it only took 2 years to build it, so it was finished in 1842. But there's been a castle on these grounds since 1180. So the notion of having a castle up here was not new. This guy decided to build a summer home castle here that's kind of an homage to medieval times. So he had a large collection of medieval furniture and art, and he housed it in this beautiful setting that was inspired by Gothic architecture. So it's a neo-Gothic castle. It was extremely interesting to see all of the beautiful rooms were decorated and painted all over. It was really pretty, and one of the rooms had the death mask of Napoleon, so that was really cool. Not a bad summer home. One more fun fact. In the castle, one of the rooms was the family room where they have the family tree, and they kind of celebrate certain members of the family on the walls in painting form. One of the paintings was of the most important member of his family, who happened to be the founder of pretzel. Yes, pretzel.
You know what that means? It's pretty salted and really twisted.
Welcome to Luxembourg! We've come here for a very special reason. Fun fact about lawn flamingos.
One really cool thing about these old European cities is they used to be kingdoms.
So we obviously couldn't take you with us into the baths because of all the nudity.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.
And if you'd like to follow our journey in real time on a map, receive postcards from our ports of call, and message us directly to the boat, you can go ahead and become a patron using the link in the description down below.
We are ready to be beautified by the buildings of eyes.
That makes no sense.
Makes total sense. The beautiful buildings will impress your eyes.
Okay.
Yes, quite.